Right, the tricks, listen to me carefully, and in fact grade 11s and grade 10s, you can watch it if you want to. The next type of simultaneous equations is quite tricky. It's not going to be the two little linear functions. Now remember, linear are those ones with x's and y's. They're the straight lines. Okay, now we're going to focus on specifically grade 11. Have a look at this example. You've got a very nice easy equation with x and y, but look at this. The second equation is got x squared and all sorts of things. It would be a complete nightmare to try and add and do things here. So I'm going to use the last method I did in the previous lesson. It's called the method of substitution. Now watch what I do. I take the easy equation. In other words, now look at this. Here's the two equations. This is a simple equation and the bottom one is a horrible one. You know what? It's kind of like this. I'm rather going to associate with someone that's less complicated. Have you ever had someone that you know they're so difficult? You know, they're so difficult. You never know what their mood is. You want to have a simple little equation that you can work with. Now, the x minus y equals 3 is so much easier. Now, watch this. I pick him. I say, come here. Come here, you little thing. Let's work with you. Okay, now I'm going to solve for something. I can maybe do x, or I can maybe solve for y. Who knows? But let me teach you something. Let's say we solve for y. Now, careful. Guys, there's a negative there next to y. The x, he goes to the other side and becomes negative x. So you pick this is so important. Matrix, they ask this every year. You've got to get it right. It's up to 8 to 9 marks. Let's get it right. What we're doing is you take that easy equation and you could have said x is equal to 3 plus y. But I'm doing this because many matrix make a mistake. You say negative y equals 3 minus x, and then we are going to multiply by negative, which of course means we have all these signs changing. Negative y becomes positive y, 3 becomes negative 3, and minus x becomes positive x. And of course, so if we've got that, well, then we can maybe also make it x minus 3. It is so important to work with this correctly. And you get y equals x minus 3. Now, what's the next thing? Now we pick the big equation. There he is. Now, watch very carefully. I'm going to do this extremely slowly. Do you notice this has got x and y's in? But do you notice that the y is x minus 3? So I'm going to do something. I'm going to keep x squared minus x. The y, I'm going to open brackets there. Minus 2 y squared minus 7 is 0. So I've got gaps here. This is what I'm going to encourage you to do. Rewrite the difficult equation and open brackets. Now remember, the y is being affected. There's still the 2 and the squared there, and you're not going to you don't affect them. You put brackets in place of y and open them, make them wide, okay, because you're dealing with y here. So if you had worked with x, then you would have done the same thing to the x's, okay. So we've now got y equals x plus x minus 3, and we go to our other equation, the difficult one, and we open brackets where there is y. Now watch this carefully. Y is x minus 3, so I'm going to take the first x and drop him in to y's place. That x minus 3 goes into y's place. But there's another y, so let's bring another x minus 3 into his place. What a pleasure. This thing is brilliant because you can now square everything. It's all x's. Now let's times it out. Well, this one, if you think about it, negative x times x is minus x squared. Negative x times negative 3 is positive 3x. Be very careful. That x squared still stays. I use a therefore. Now be very careful here. Minus 2. Do you remember in grade 9? Watch out for those things. It's squaring the binomial, squaring those things. You get x squared, and negative 3 squared is 9, but you get the middle term. In other words, x times negative 3 is negative 3x, and you double, giving you negative 6. You might, of course, want to write out 2 brackets and do that as well. But be very careful. Master this. I know that you know this. X squared minus 6x plus 9 in brackets minus 7. Okay. Now, what do? These guys conveniently disappear. We can cancel them. And they go. And then we've got the 3x. Now, watch this. Negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. Okay. Negative 2 times the negative 6 gives you positive 12. Work very carefully. And negative 2 times 9 is negative 18 with the minus 7. So all we've got to do is now tidy up. Now remember to put whatever the y is, you put it into where y is there. I always open my brackets first. And be very careful with this x minus 3 all squared. It's x squared. Multiply those two, minus 3x, double it. It's minus 6. And then plus 9. Now let's fix up this equation and watch out for that. Okay, now let's see. Well, what do we know? We've got negative 2x squared, 3x plus 12x is 15, and negative 18 minus 7 is minus 25. And of course, this is one of these horrible trinomials. Change the signs, multiply throughout by that. And then what do we then do? We go and we factorize using that great technique, same signs, and there we go. And we got our two values. Now remember, if that's a plus, the two signs are negative. And that kind of thing, by the way, you could also use the quadratic formula as well. Minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. But now factorize this correctly, and then you get your x values. X is 2x minus 5 is 0, x is 5 over 2, or x is 5. But don't stop there now, though it said solve for x and y. So we take those x's and we plug them back into the expression for y. Now let's do that. Okay, x is 5 over 2, so y is equal to x minus 3. Plug in 5 over 2, plug in 5 minus 3, and you then work out your y values. Very important stuff. Don't go away on Matrix Uploaded. We're going to do some more simultaneous equations in the next lesson.